One quiet night in 1979, the bright lights of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson glowed across America. The audience laughed, the band played softly, and Johnny Carson sat behind his famous desk with a smile that millions knew by heart. But that night felt different. Johnny looked toward the curtain and announced a guest the crowd deeply admired, John Wayne. The audience exploded with applause as John Wayne slowly walked onto the stage. He wore his cowboy hat and carried the strong presence that had made him a legend. But behind his smile, something seemed heavy. His steps were slower than before. His face showed the quiet exhaustion of a man who had fought many battles off-screen. Johnny stood up and shook his hand warmly. "Good to see you, Duke," Johnny said softly. John Wayne smiled. "Good to be here, partner." The audience laughed gently, but Johnny noticed something emotional in Wayne's eyes. As the interview continued, they joked about old Western movies, horses, and Hollywood memories. The crowd laughed often, yet there was sadness hidden beneath Wayne's calm voice. Then Johnny asked a simple question. "What keeps you going after all these years?" For a moment, the studio became silent. John Wayne leaned back and looked down at his hands. His voice grew quieter. "You wake up one day," he said, "and realize most of the people you rode with are gone." The audience stopped moving. Wayne continued slowly. "You spend your life trying to look strong because people expect the cowboy never to fall. But sometimes, when the cameras are off, you feel tired." Johnny Carson's smile faded. He could hear the pain behind every word. Wayne looked toward the audience and added, "I've played heroes my whole life, but real life doesn't work like the movies. Sometimes the hero can't win every fight." The room was completely silent now. Johnny gently asked, "Are you afraid?" Wayne paused for several seconds. Then he nodded. "A little," he admitted, "not for myself, but for the people I'll leave behind." Some audience members wiped tears from their eyes. Johnny Carson leaned forward, no longer acting like a television host. He spoke like a friend. "You've meant a lot to people, Duke, more than you know." John Wayne smiled weakly. "I hope I gave them courage." Johnny answered immediately. "You did." The crowd burst into emotional applause. For the first time that night, John Wayne's eyes filled with tears. He quickly looked away, trying to hide them, but Johnny noticed. Instead of making a joke or changing the subject, Johnny simply placed a hand on Wayne's shoulder. No words were needed. For a few seconds, the entire studio felt still. Two aging legends sitting together under the lights, both understanding how quickly time passes. When the interview ended, the audience stood for a long ovation. John Wayne tipped his cowboy hat one final time before walking backstage. Johnny watched him disappear behind the curtain. And years later, many people would remember that night not because of the jokes, but because they saw something rare on television. A strong man admitting he was human.